Right or easy, the choice that echoes in the soul. At every crossroads in life, we are confronted with a subtle yet insistent voice, that of what is right versus what is easy. In a world that often pushes us towards shortcuts, towards convenience disguised as pragmatism, where quick profit can overshadow integrity and superficiality seems to dominate, how do we discern the path that is truly worthwhile? What does it mean to live a life that deep down resonates with what is truly good and just? Psalm 4, in its 5th verse, offers us not a simple answer, but a radical invitation to a journey of authenticity and faith. Offer right sacrifices and put your trust in the Lord. This is not a passive suggestion. It is a vibrant exhortation, a direct call that emerges from the experience of David, the psalmist. Remember, he was in the midst of deep tribulation, his reputation at stake, his very life threatened. Yet he raises his voice not to solely lament his situation, but to instruct. He points us towards a path that, though it may seem counterintuitive, is the only one capable of bringing true peace and security. This verse is a guide for the moral compass of our being and an invitation to place the weight of our choices on the shoulders of the divine. The courage of what is right. Offer right sacrifices. The phrase right sacrifices transports us beyond the image of ancient rituals. In that time, sacrifices were acts of worship, of surrender, of seeking reconciliation with the sacred. However, the prophecy and wisdom of the Psalms came to remind us that God is not impressed by mere formality. He longs for an upright heart and for actions that reflect his own essence of justice, truth, and goodness. Thus, right sacrifices are, in our daily lives, those choices that cost us, that demand renunciation, but that are aligned with integrity. They are the ethical decisions made under pressure, the honest word uttered even when silence would be more comfortable, the act of generosity that goes unnoticed, the patience exercised when impatience would be understandable. It is a living worship manifested in the moral fiber of our actions. Imagine the crossroads in Mr. Norberto's life. At 58, he led a small consulting firm, built with sweat and ethical principles. The recent economic crisis was tightening its grip, and the company was on the verge of collapse, threatening the jobs of his loyal employees and the livelihood of his own family. Then came a tempting contract proposal from a powerful client, a project that would bring immediate financial relief, but would require Mr. Norberto to omit crucial information to a third party involved. It wasn't illegal, but it certainly wasn't just. The voices in his mind were many. It's just this once, Norberto. Think of the families. No one will know. Your company is at stake. The pressure was almost unbearable. Nights were sleepless, his stomach ached. He knew that accepting would be a quick way to save his business, but at a cost to his conscience. Psalm 4:5 came to his mind like a lighthouse. Offer right sacrifices. It was an invitation to look beyond immediate benefit and consider what would please a higher authority. Mr. Norberto found himself before his inner altar. There, his sacrifice of righteousness was not an animal, but the renunciation of the easy shortcut. He decided to refuse the contract, explaining his position of integrity to the client, even knowing that this could mean bankruptcy. The choice was an act of silent courage. The immediate consequence was, in fact, an intensification of financial difficulties. But to his surprise, and more importantly to the peace of his soul, an unquestionable lightness enveloped him. This was the immediate reward of the sacrifice, a clear conscience, an alignment with his deepest values, and the certainty that he had done what was right, even when easy screamed in his ears. This is true worship, the true offering that lifts the spirit, the quietness of certainty, and put your trust in the Lord. After the moral imperative to offer right sacrifices, the psalm offers us the immediate and lasting reward, and put your trust in the Lord. This is not blind trust, but a conviction forged in the experience of one who chooses the path of righteousness, one who strives to live with integrity, with their heart aligned with what is good and true, finds fertile ground to place their faith. The peace that comes from a clear conscience empowers the soul to entrust God with control over the consequences of their choices. To trust in the Lord in this context is to free oneself from the need to control outcomes, knowing that the one who is just will care for the just. Let's consider the story of Donna Regina, a talented artisan who, in her early 60s, relied primarily on selling her pieces at local fairs for income. With the advent of the internet, many younger artisans began selling online, and some larger stores started reproducing her pieces more cheaply, harming her small business. She felt wronged, her work devalued. Friends suggested she do the same, copy other people's designs, use cheaper materials to compete, or even publicly complain about market injustices. Donna Regina refused. Her sacrifice of righteousness was to continue creating original pieces, using quality materials, and maintaining ethics in her competition. It was the harder path, the one that brought less immediate profit. But she decided to trust in the Lord with the consequences. This trust manifested daily, in the patience to continue creating, in the refusal to let bitterness consume her, in silent prayer while working on her pieces. She entrusted God with her worries about livelihood and injustice. Slowly, something began to change. The quality and originality of her pieces, previously overlooked in the pursuit of cheaper alternatives, began to be noticed by a niche of clients who valued authentic handcrafted work. A local art gallery, known for valuing traditional art, invited her to exhibit. Her sales, though smaller, became more consistent and profitable, and she began to be recognized for her integrity and unique talent. For Donna Regina, this was proof that her trust was not in vain. By offering the sacrifice of righteousness of her art and conduct, the Lord sustained her in a way she did not expect. She found peace in her art and in her soul, a peace that came from the certainty that God is faithful to honor those who honor Him with their choices. The echo of choice, life with purpose and lasting peace. Psalm 4:5 is in essence an invitation to a life of authenticity and purpose. It reminds us that true security and lasting peace are not found in evading moral responsibilities or in seeking shortcuts, but in the courage to do what is right, even when it demands a sacrifice. And in doing so, we open the doors to unshakable trust in God, who sustains and guides us even when the path ahead seems uncertain. This verse challenges us to question our daily offerings. Are our choices, in family, at work, in relationships, true sacrifices of righteousness or merely conveniences? Embrace the courage of uprightness. Understand that integrity is not always easy, but it is always rewarding for the soul. Release control. Once we act justly, we can release anxiety about the outcomes, trusting that God is in control. It is a message for the soul that, amidst the complexity of adult life, yearns to build a legacy of value, not just material, but spiritual and moral. It is an invitation to live a life that is a testament to the peace born of integrity and trust in a God who sees, cares, and rewards. Therefore, when life places you at the crossroads between what is right and what is easy, remember Psalm 4:5. May your choices be a sacrifice of righteousness, an act of worship that honors what is true and good. And by doing so, may you entrust your soul and all your worries to the unshakable certainty that you can fully trust in the Lord. The peace you seek, true security, lies on that path,